This presentation discusses complex issues. The opinions expressed by each speaker represent only the individual speaker's opinion and does not necessarily represent the viewpoint of the conference organizers. Please note that with any individual patient, due to details specific to the case, the Jewish legal decision may be different than the general guidelines expressed here. For the Jewish opinion in individual cases, please consult with a competent rabbi well-versed in Jewish medical case law.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this session for caring for the uninsured. If this is the right session that you want to attend, you're welcome to stay. If it's not, forever hold your peace. This afternoon, I am filling in for Dr. Bork, who will not be here as a moderator. My name is Eli Abadi. I'm a practicing gastroenterologist and also a rabbi at the Edmund J. Safra Synagogue in the Upper East Side of Manhattan. It's a pleasure for me to have two outstanding speakers that somehow we have a connection. I have a connection with both of them. As I introduce them, I'll say a few words about that. But first, just words of introduction. In this era of HMOs and low reimbursement, I'm sure many physicians, and maybe that including some of us, feels that that in itself is a state of uninsured patients, as the reimbursement is so low that we may as well not take the insurance at all. But I'm sure many of us have faced situations in which we are called in the middle of the night to take care of a patient, and a service patient from the emergency room, and clearly a patient that hasn't seen a physician in several years and comes in terrible state, medical state, critical state, and certainly we have to take care of that patient, ethically and morally. And we end up with a tremendous loss, not just financial one, but certainly aggravation and time and effort. But be that as it may, there's estimated over 50 million uninsured people in the United States. 10 million of those are children. And the reasons are certainly varied. Some of them are because they are very, very wealthy and they don't need to be insured. They could pay and they could afford that, but that's probably a minority. The majority of them, they might be people that have small businesses and they cannot afford, or the burden of medical insurance is too high to afford for their employees. And I venture to say that most of them are those people who are at the cusp between Medicaid, in a sense they are so poor that they cannot afford, then they will be on Medicaid, but they are slightly above the Medicaid threshold that they cannot, they're not eligible for that, and therefore they don't have enough money to insure themselves. And I think that's a crisis in American healthcare that has to be certainly addressed. I'm sure many people, if not many people, but some patients may have good knowledge of the Bible, of the Tanakh, where it says, "Ki ani Hashem rofe'echa," if you fulfill, "Vayam shemua tishme'u el mitzvotai," if you listen to my commandment and you fulfill them, and you do as I said, God said, "No disease that I have given to Egypt shall given upon you, because I am your healer," God said. And some patients, I think, are of the opinion that if God is the healer, then maybe there is no need to pay the physician for his services. But be that again as it may, I think the question that it is in front of us as either physicians or as people in the healthcare is the community or the society responsible to provide medical treatment free of charge, or is medical treatment a God-given right? Or is it the right of those that can only pay for it? And for that we have two outstanding speakers, as I said at the beginning. First we have Dr. Robert Jacobs, who is the Chief Executive Officer and Senior Vice President for Clinical Affairs at SUNY Downstate Medical Center. And my relation to that it's my alma mater. At that time it was SUNY HASCAB, Health Science Center at Brooklyn, after being downstate and before being downstate again. As you know, that institution changed its name a few times, and in between those years, I was a medical student there. So Dr. Jacobs is really responsible for the entire clinical enterprise, including the University Hospital of Brooklyn and the faculty practice. He received his medical doctor degree from NYU School of Medicine in 1968 and completed his postgraduate training at the Johns Hopkins Hospital in Internal Medicine and Rheumatology. He served in the faculties of Johns Hopkins, University of Pennsylvania, George Washington University School of Medicine, where he achieved the rank of Professor of Medicine and served as Chief of the Division of Rheumatology. After earning his MBA degree from the Wharton School in 1991, he served as Medical Director of the hospital at the Albert Einstein College of Medicine. Dr. Jacobs left his academic medicine to serve as Regional Medical Director of New York for Oxford Health Plans in 1995. And after a stint at NYU Medical Center, Dr. Jacobs went to SUNY Downstate in February 2003 as Chief Medical Officer, and then was promoted to his current position in January 2004 as the Chief Executive Officer and Senior Vice President for Clinical Affairs. Before Dr. Jacobs speaks, I will introduce also our second speaker, Dr. Rabbi Richard Weiss. Dr. Rabbi Richard Weiss. Rabbi Weiss and I go back from our first alma mater, Yeshiva University, where we both studied at the college, and then also at the Rabbi Isaac Elchanan Theological Seminary, where we both obtained our ordination. Later on, as rabbis, we were colleagues at the Fifth Avenue Synagogue here on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. Rabbi Weiss completed his internship at Maimonides Medical Center. He is licensed to practice medicine. He was affiliated in the Department of Ethics at St. Vincent Medical Center, and he has lectured widely in the field of Jewish bioethics. His primary area of interest are end-of-life care and assisted reproductive technology. Presently, he is the rabbi of the West Side Jewish Center of Manhattan, and shortly he'll become a rabbi at the Hillcrest Jewish Center. Young Israel of Hillcrest. So these are our speakers for this afternoon, and without further ado, Dr. Jacobs.
Thank you. Let's see if I can make this work for us. And if I could do this, we know the day will end well. Thank you. It's a pleasure being here. I have to tell you that this is my second time having been invited to speak at this particular program. Now, I mention that for a very important reason. About 10 years ago, when I was at Oxford Health Plans, I was asked to speak on the topic of managed care. Of course, this year I'm asked to speak on the topic of the uninsured. And I'm thinking of the change from the mid-90s to now, and I wonder what I'm going to be asked to speak on 10 years from now. So this is a topic where I think I have to apologize to everybody. This is not the most uplifting topic to end a long day, but hopefully we will make it interesting for you. Something particularly important, and I had touched on that in some comments at lunch. I am currently at Downstate, and you heard my brief bio. I've been at many other institutions along the way, and the change from institution to institution